Jalen Hurts, Mike, we don't have the final status report, but Nick Sirianni certainly suggested strongly that he's not going to be out there this week. It'll be Gardner Minshew, which is what we've expected throughout the week. He's got a right shoulder sprain. It's his throwing shoulder. From what I'm told, it's not long-term. It is nothing that's going to require surgery, but this is generally an injury that's best treated with rest, which brings me to, I think, an important question, not for just for everybody who has Jalen Hurts in fantasy football, but for the MVP race as well. If the Eagles, with Gardner Minshew, beat the Cowboys on Saturday, wrapping up the number 1 seed, do we see Jalen Hurts again in the regular season? Do they give him an opportunity to try to polish off the rest of his MVP case, or do they simply rest him and say, see you in second, third week of January?
Well, I think there's two things at play. One, if he misses one game, and we've heard various estimates and takes on whether he's going to be back next week. I've heard some people say he's got a shot, and I've heard some people say he's got no shot. Obviously, if it's no shot, that makes things easy. But if he's got a shot and they've wrapped things up, I think it's easy to play him in week 17. Now, the question is, what if he doesn't play in week 17 and then week 18 rolls around? Because now you're looking at the possibility that it'll be, I believe, a month and 4 days between games if he doesn't play at all in the rest of the regular season, right? So if he's available in week 18, but you've got well, we don't need this game, obviously. We've wrapped everything up. Boy, I'd love to give our starters a rest. I don't know. I think Nick Sirianni might have a tough decision on his hands, and nobody's told me this. And when I ask you about it, they say, we're not talking, it's too soon. We'll worry about that when we get there, in large part because they don't know how the next 2 weeks, they could theoretically lose the next 2 games. So I think at that point, you may have to play them for rust purposes, right? Just get them, even if it's just a quarter, a half, whatever, get them out there against the Giants and play them a little bit along with the starters because you don't want that long of a layoff if possible. So keep an eye on that one because that could be an interesting scenario. And another thing, it could theoretically, if the Giants lose to Minnesota, which I believe they're expected to, they're not favored in that game, then they've got the Colts the following week, which don't sleep on that team. You could have a scenario where the Giants need that Week 18 game, and the Eagles may play Hurts and their starters, again, because of rust purposes or maybe even for the MVP or whatever it is. That could set up a really interesting scenario between the two divisional rivals. So I've got an eye to Week 18. Let's see how it goes on both fronts there.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.